Hi, welcome back. My name is Cole,
And I'm Andrew.
and this is CTRL-AC. CTRL-AC is the podcast where we talk about the EVGA 14,000. So this is going to be a shorter episode this week. We have a couple different topics to talk about. GTA 6 got leaked. EVGA is backing out of making GPUs. RTX 4000 series got launched this week. Logitech's G Cloud handheld. And our hands-on and first impressions of the iPhone 14 Pro Max.
Yeah, so pretty solid episode. 14 Pro Max impressions. We're going to do those at the end. Those have been pretty fun. I'm excited for that.
Me too.
Starting off, GTA 6. Guys, it's happening.
It only took them 12 years, guys.
It's happening. So at this rate, my grandkids will be able to get GTA 6 for Christmas. It may happen. So when did GTA 5 come out?
I think it came out in 2013, so we're going on 10 years.
So yeah, Rockstar has been taking their sweet time with GTA 6. It's GTA 6 is just a meme now because it's taken so long to develop. I saw this Instagram video and it said if GTA 6 is taking this long, I better be able to walk through my house, like in the game. But it's taken a really long time. GTA 6 is happening because Rockstar had a massive leak. So PC Gamer reports that a user on the GTA forums posted a 3 gig file that contained 90 videos of GTA 6 footage. So the guy who is behind this hack claims to be the same guy who hacked Uber last week.
Seriously?
So we talked about that 18-year-old kid who hacked Uber, and we were like, this kid is good. And then he just hacked Rockstar and got GTA 6 footage. So once again, this kid is good. He was actually arrested today. We're recording this on Friday the 23rd. So he was arrested, but I guarantee you he's going to get a job pretty soon. So he leaked 90 videos of GTA 6. The gameplay is definitely unfinished. It shows a character like robbing a restaurant. Shows one hopping on a metro train. It's going to take place in Miami. It's running on a 3060 Ti and a 3080. So we assume that those will be like recommended specs for GTA 6. But it's unavailable now. They've taken the video down, but kind of crazy that this same kid hacked like 2 of the biggest companies in the world. I guess if anything, this leak takes a little bit of pressure off them now that everyone's seen it. So maybe they can take their time. This kind of satisfies everyone for right now. Maybe they can take a couple years. But yeah, very interesting. Keeping with the trend of gaming, Logitech has a new product that is, I guess, the first sort of competitor to the Steam Deck.
After seeing the Steam Deck, that was a hard line to cross because it was one of the best price to performance handheld consoles we've seen in a very long time.
Yeah, so now Logitech has their competitor in the handheld space. This is a little different. So it is an Android powered $350 handheld that has access to the Play Store, Xbox Cloud Gaming, NVIDIA GeForce Now, and that's kind of it. So you can play mobile games, and then you can play your favorite AAA titles through Xbox Cloud Gaming and GeForce Now. So it doesn't actually run the games on device. It relies on cloud streaming. It has a 1080p screen, 60 hertz refresh rate. It's 16:9. The whole case is white. The bezels are kind of big. It's not beautiful.
I like it.
I don't think it looks as good as the Steam Deck.
You can't beat the Steam Deck in looks. But performance-wise, it's not the most performing. It has a Snapdragon 720G processor. That's an 8-core CPU, but it only gets up to 2.3 gigahertz.
It has 4 gigs of LPDDR4X
4 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. So really, this isn't going to be able to run really anything more than like mobile games like Subway Surfers and stuff like that. If you can play on native apps.
So it's for that and then cloud streaming.
But it doesn't have 5G or SIM card support. So you're either going to have to have a Wi-Fi or you're either going to have to have an Ethernet dongle or have good Wi-Fi service at the moment.
Here's what I don't understand. It's $350. And for 500-ish, you can get a Steam Deck, which is a much better handheld, or you can get a Switch, which is a better handheld. I don't see why you'd get this. This also relies on cloud streaming. So yeah, you save some money with this, but you also need pretty stellar Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so unless you're either using an Ethernet dongle or you're really close to your router, then this isn't a great sell.
I mean, it's cool. You just can't justify getting it over a Switch or a Steam Deck.
Yeah, like on a plane, this would not be usable.
No.
Or like on a cruise or anything.
Well, yeah, you could play Subway Surfers on your $350 handheld. So yeah, the Steam Deck starts at $399. The Switch is $299. This is right between Steam Deck and Switch. I don't see the point here. I think it is cool that we're getting a cloud gaming handheld. I think they should have bumped the price way down. Like if Amazon ever did like a cheap Kindle made for cloud gaming, so you could spend like $150 on this little tablet that could play AAA games via cloud streaming, that would be cool, because then it would bring those titles to people who maybe don't want to buy an Xbox or this. But I think in the less expensive market, this makes sense. But for $50 more, you can just play the games natively on better hardware with the Steam Deck. So I don't see a selling point here.
I don't really either, honestly. I think the best thing about it is how it's only £1 and it promises 12 hours of battery life. So this isn't great, but you can pre-order it now for $300. So that's $50 less than the retail. But besides that, I see no reason why you should get this. So EVGA has been making graphics cards since basically NVIDIA has released cards. I have an EVGA 9800 GT sitting on my desk at home.
Wouldn't you say that there's a good chance that anyone who like doesn't actively build computers, if they've seen a graphics card, it's probably an EVGA one?
Oh
Like
yeah, it's either
graphics
EVGA
cards.
or Asus Strix. But besides that, so EVGA is backing out of all GPU making business at the moment,
Which is huge.
and they're not planned to go over to Intel or AMD. And this is a big deal. I'm actually kind of upset about this. EVGA makes power supplies, motherboards, used to make GPUs. They make a bunch of stuff. They make peripherals. It's kind of sad to see that they're backing out of this. But on the WAN show, which is LMG's podcast, they talked about how NVIDIA is terrible to manufacturers of their cards.
That's what EVGA said. They said they're backing out of the partnership with NVIDIA because they said they're a bad partner.
So if you're not a fan of LMG, Linus used to work at LTX, which was a PC part distributor like Newegg, Amazon, stuff like that, but just for PC parts. And he explained how NVIDIA is terrible to them. He wouldn't release prices for cards, so people would like call in and like try to pre-order it, and they would just like not. They couldn't tell them the price or anything because of their embargoes are so heavy on their GPUs. And they do this just so that they can make people mad, it seems.
Yeah, this is very strange.
There's no business strategic reason why they need to do this, like at all. Is withhold the pricing. If anything, if they release the pricing a little early before they drop the cards, they would sell a lot more because a lot more people would be saving up the money before the cards came out. They just have a huge flush of cards rushing through the market.
Yeah, EVGA said that they are still going to be selling current generation NVIDIA cards, but after that, they're done. And then according to Gamers Nexus, EVGA doesn't currently have any plans to make cards for AMD or Intel. So they may be done. I'm sure AMD and Intel are like fighting to get a partnership going with them because there's a lot of money there. But for the time being, this is pretty crazy.
So hopefully what we're going to end up seeing is what would be nice would be another GPU manufacturer that pulled some of EVGA's GPU designers and started making GPUs similar to EVGA's, because their For the Win series has always looked good.
Yeah,
I personally, that is my favorite addition of EVGA's lineup.
They make good looking cards.
Yeah, they make the most stellar looking cards, I think, besides Asus Strix, which is kind of subjective. I'm just
Oh
hoping
yeah.
that somebody like Asus and Gigabyte won't follow suit, because that would cause problems, because then you would be limited to just the Founders Edition card. So yeah, this sucks, and hopefully EVGA will get good at something like motherboards or something, or maybe even RAM, so that we'll have another option instead of graphics cards from EVGA.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to see EVGA go down. I love all of their products. They make the best power supplies in the world.
Yeah, we'll definitely be following this.
So, yeah.
Like we said, EVGA said that they will be selling older NVIDIA cards, but they will not be selling any of NVIDIA's new cards. Those new cards are RTX 4000 series. So NVIDIA had their RTX 4000 event. We got two cards. We got 4080 and 4090. We should see 3070, 3060, 3050 soon, but these two cards will be available in mid-October. Performance gains per NVIDIA, pretty solid.
So for pretty intensive games right now, Microsoft Flight Simulator has about 1x performance, obviously, for the 3090 Ti. And the same game with a 4090 looks to be about 2 times the performance of Microsoft Flight Simulator with a 3090 Ti. And that's kind of a big deal.
They said depending on the game, 4090 will be 2 to 4 times faster than 3090 Ti. That 4 times number is in very specific, very well optimized ray tracing circumstances in some games.
Like Cyberpunk 2077 with their new ray tracing overhaul.
Right, or like the Miles Morales game coming to PC.
And the new Portal with RTX that's being released right now.
Any of those, you may get 4 times faster. But like the base end of that claim, 2 times as fast, that's incredible.
Yeah. I feel like the big thing with 4000 is going to be overclocking. Because imagine these overclocked with Microsoft Flight Simulator. You can easily get 3 times performance if you overclock it.
3090 and 3090 Ti were already like
the beasts of
perfect.
Cards.
I don't really think you need more. Like if you're pushing the limits of dual 3090s, I guess you'd need like this card. Also, if you're actually doing that, we'd love to have you on talk about your GPU workflow. But twice as fast as a 3090 Ti is incredible. The speed at which you can now mine will be amazing.
See, okay, so you said 2 things there. Dual 3090s and mining on GPUs.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you heard, but Ethereum just swapped over to a different blockchain.
Yep.
So mining Ethereum is no longer going to be even remotely profitable on any card.
Which is good.
Yeah, that's good. We'd love to see that. And another thing you said was dual 3090s. So in the event, one thing that we lacked seeing was SLI pins on the GPU.
Which is slightly concerning.
Which means that there is going to be no 4090s running an SLI. This is kind of sad to see because dual, triple, quad GPUs has been a staple of memes of the PC community for a long time now. I just watched a video of quad GTX 980 Ti's and it was a beast. So that is kind of sad to see though because it's one of the best memes in the PC industry in my opinion.
4090 has 16,384 CUDA cores, base clock of 2.2 gigahertz that turbos to 2.5, and 24 gigs of G6X VRAM. That's insane. It recommends a power supply of at least 850 watts, which is kind of interesting because I thought it'd pull way more than that.
Yeah, it was suspected to pull from leaks 600 to 800 watts by itself.
Yeah, their estimate of 850 at least is with a Ryzen 5900X. So don't get 850 watts with this.
Especially if you're planning on
definitely get
upgrading
more.
At all. Honestly, in my opinion, I think 1,000 watts for anything above a 3080 is a good way to go.
Yeah. We also got 4080. 4080 is 2 to 4 times faster than 3080 Ti. There are 2 versions of that. There's a 12 gig and a 6 gig model. The 12 gig 4080 starts at $899. The 16 gig 4080 is $1199. And the 24 gig 4090 is $1,600.
So that's about the MSRP of the 3090 Ti that came out last year.
That's an expensive card.
It's an expensive card.
All three 40 series cards will have new NVIDIA Shadow Play that captures 8K 60 FPS HDR footage, which is crazy. Both of these cards support the third generation of RTX. So NVIDIA says this will greatly improve ray tracing, which is nice. And like Cole said, Microsoft Flight Simulator frame rates more than doubled using this new RTX. So both of these cards will be available on October 12th. So October 12th, RTX 4090 will hit, what do you think? 2,000, 2,100 resale day one?
Probably somewhere around that, especially if they sell out quickly.
$2,100 for a card. It's unbelievable.
But they've also done a lot of bot checking when buying GPUs, so especially now
I think
that
they
crypto's
learned their
died.
lesson last year. Because the 30 series launch was kind of bad.
It was so overshot because mining got so profitable. That's why they sold out quickly. You couldn't get your hands on one. But now that crypto is essentially dead to mine on, they're not going to sell out in 10 seconds. It'll probably be 10 minutes. But they've done a lot of bot checking, so there's not just going to be a bunch of bots able to buy them and resell them immediately, which is nice. But yeah, if you're planning on getting an RTX 4090, hit us up and we would love to have you on the podcast to share your experience with it. So one little thing real quick about graphics cards. I have been on a GTX 1060 for way too long, way longer than I like to admit. It's been almost 3 years now. And it started to struggle a little lately. I hopped into Forza 1080p low settings, 60 FPS. It was kind of sad. But I found this deal. It was a brand new sealed in box on Craigslist, an RTX 3070 for $300. I had just sold my Nintendo Switch OLED the day before for $300.
So you did what any responsible person would do. You took the $300 and you saved it.
And I bought the RTX 3070. So me and my mom drove our way down, not to the not so great part of town. And it wasn't bad. It was kind of nice where we were at, actually. We went to Starbucks. It was pretty nice. We played the stupid mobile game that just came out, Survivor.io, for like an hour.
It's the best game ever made.
Honestly. And so when we got it, it was this really nice old lady. She was like, yeah, I don't have a car right now, so I just need to earn some cash. So the listings called it a gaming multiplayer card.
Is that listing wrong? I mean
it said multiplayer card, gaming multiplayer card for multiplayer games. So I guess technically
fact check. You can play multiplayer games with the card
as long as you have Wi-Fi.
So it's not wrong.
So I was like, okay, they probably really don't know what they're talking about. So what I suspect is that, you know, those little shops that pop up every now and then that just buy Amazon return pallets.
Yeah.
And they just sell everything for like $5-10.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming she found it. She was like, oh, this probably costs a little bit of money. She bought it. She was going to give it away, but needed something for her car, so she probably just sold it. So this is a really good deal. I popped it in my system that night, and
first impressions are positive.
Wow.
So you played Minecraft
with shaders,
and then Forza.
I played Forza Horizon 5. I played Warzone with ray tracing. I played Apex Legends.
Okay, so quick rundown of those games. Resolution, frame rate.
I know 3000 came out like 2 years ago now, but man, these cards are still kicking.
So Fortnite, what did you get?
Fortnite, I hopped on. It defaulted to 4K, nearly max settings. I was maxed out at my monitor's refresh rate at 240 hertz. It didn't go up past that because I have it locked. I hopped into Warzone, which, if you play, you know, is one of the most intensive multiplayer games like out there right now, besides maybe Cyberpunk, which I don't know if it's multiplayer or not. It defaulted to 4K maximum settings and got over 100 FPS
on a 2-year-old card
time. I hopped into Apex. I maxed out the settings at 1440p because 4K is a little scuffed on my monitor. 240 FPS locked once again. I hopped into Minecraft. First, I played without shaders, and I got around 1,000 FPS on average with fancy settings, 4K.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think I dropped it down to 1080p for Minecraft, but for 1080p max settings with 20 view distance, 1000 FPS.
It's not bad.
And then I turned shaders on. And I learned that shaders is heavily VRAM intensive. And the 3070 has 8 gigs of VRAM. The one that I bought. It's the Asus TUF LHR. It struggled a little bit with shaders. When I say struggled, I mean, it didn't. I couldn't max out the settings. So my render scale was on 1.5 instead of 2x. But still, that's more than what my 1060 was
Still
getting.
solid.
And the shadows were at 2x. I had bloom up to the max. I had all the particles on. And I was getting over 100 FPS, 200 FPS at times. And it looked good. So, honestly, 4000 series just came out. And if you have any 3000 series card, you don't need to upgrade.
If you have a high 20 series card, I don't even think you need to upgrade.
I think if you have a 20, if you have an RTX 2000 series, you're still in good shape. 4000 series is really for the enthusiasts, those who really just want better looking games, or those who desperately need a new GPU.
Like Cole and I.
Yeah.
We need to have quad 4090s for Google Docs.
Obviously. Yeah, for
Minecraft.
Google Docs and Minecraft. But honestly, 4000, if they come out with the 4050, I feel like that is going to be the best price performance card if it's similar to the 3050 in price.
And also, if you're just looking for a good deal, now that 4000 series is out, look for a 3060 or 3070 now.
Oh yeah,
$300, $400, $500 for 3070 even
for 1000 FPS in Minecraft.
That's
and 200
not
FPS
bad.
in Warzone. Yeah,
3000 series now is a pretty good deal. If you're really on a budget, 2080, that's even more.
Honestly, 2080's price performance isn't great because they was such an expensive card when it came out, and it's such a cliche gamer card. It's just it's a heavily memed card. All 2000 series really is.
But still, if you can find it for $200.
Yeah, just be careful you're not getting scammed first of all. But
also, since it's a 2000 series, be sure it wasn't mined on.
Yeah, that's another big thing.
That was peak mining.
So yeah, I love the 3070. I'm gonna have to sell it with a different build just because I'm trying to get the MacBook Air, right? So it's gonna be sad to see it go, but I'm probably gonna get another one afterwards and water cool it. I don't need a 3080, I've learned. Honestly, I'll probably just get the 3070 12 gig just so I have a little more VRAM headroom for Minecraft with shaders, and then water cool it to fit the rest of my build with my new case. But yeah, like we said, if you are in dire need of a graphics card, or you're just an enthusiast, or you really just want to have good, nice looking games, 3000 series right now is the way to go, honestly, if you can find a good deal. 2000 if you can for cheap. And those of you who are just special and want to spend $1,000 more than they need to on a 4090.
Yeah, don't spend $2,000 on a 4090.
Speaking of 4,000.
Speaking of the number 4, my dad just got an iPhone 14 Pro Max, so we have had about a day of hands-on time with it. So we'll have a full review in a couple weeks, but we want to just kind of go over our first impressions. So, I mean, the most notable thing is Dynamic Island. So he's had it for a day. Dynamic Island is cool. Not a ton of apps support it. All the animations are kind of cool. They're very smooth. Animations are really well optimized. The island doesn't really distract you as much as the notch. However, I think you notice it more because the UI intentionally draws your attention to it. But screen is great. 120 hertz is so nice. The battery life has been solid so far day one. Performance is really good day one. And then we messed around with the cameras a little bit, and I took a couple photos with the 48 megapixel sensor now, and the amount of detail you get when zooming in after you take the photo is really incredible. That new sensor really helps. We haven't tested low light. We'll do that for the review. We tested macro mode a bit. That's still really good. And then the thing I actually noticed the most is we went golfing yesterday, and my dad brought his phone, and the 14 Pro Max has a peak brightness of 2000 nits when in direct sunlight. So when we were standing there in the fairway in direct sunlight, the whole screen was perfectly visible.
It looked really good, especially in direct sunlight like that. The second my 12 mini is outside, it thermally throttles down to maybe 500 nits.
Yeah, I had my 12 Pro Max right next to my dad's phone, and it was not as bright at first, and then it just throttled immediately. But it took the 14 Pro Max 45 seconds to a minute
To
in
thermally
full
throttle,
sunlight
yeah.
to throttle. It was about 95 degrees
Mm-hmm.
when we were playing. So I guess that's not horrible. When it works though, that brightness is so nice.
It's so nice. And thermally throttling down to 1600 nits.
Yeah, if it throttles down to 1600 nits, you're still fine. Like that's still perfectly visible. But that was the biggest improvement I've noticed. But Island is cool. Phone is good so far. I love the space black color.
Me too.
Looks very clean.
So I like this phone a lot, but my phone's not paid off yet. So I'm going to wait to upgrade till 15.
Yeah, I think Cole and I are both going to get iPhone 15 series.
He's probably going to get the Pro Max. I'm probably just going to get the Pro. But
So
still.
that'll be a fun year.
Mm-hmm.
And then there is a rumor that says all iPhone 15 models will get Dynamic Island,
Which is cool.
which means next year, Notch is dead.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is we've already seen a bunch of Android phones now copying Dynamic Island. Xiaomi immediately copied Dynamic Island. So now that you have like little pop-down notifications that expand. And then,
Xiaomi is literally just the Android of Apple.
yeah, Xiaomi just copies. We've talked about this, but they copy
Xiaomi
absolutely
doing Xiaomi things.
everything. And then we saw Pixel 6 Pro running some kind of Android skin that has like an island up top that expands. So I guarantee you we're going to see this on a lot of phones. It's
Oh, yeah,
it's
for
going to
sure.
become just as recognizable as the Notch.
Okay, one quick thing I want to bring up. In the UK, you can get,
In the UK,
and the United Kingdom, for non-American models of the 14 series, you can get the phone with a SIM card, right?
it comes standard with it.
Yeah, like the phone
Not
comes
in
with
the
a SIM
US.
card.
Not
So
in the US.
but not in the US, right? So iPhone Repair Guru, he's like a TikTok, YouTube Shorts creator. He opened the 14 Pro Max, and the body of the 14 series is just fully like sealed. There's no holes or anything
Yeah.
where the SIM card would be. He opened it, and there was just plastic chilling where the SIM card slot would be.
So they just kind of filled it. They didn't really take it out of the US model, which makes sense because then they'd have to make like two different versions
Logic
of
boards,
the 14
yeah.
Pro. But
So what I'm assuming they did here was just desoldered the SIM card reader.
yeah, they just,
So we're probably going to end up seeing a USB-C iPhone 14 like we did last year with the 13 and the year before that with the 12. And probably SIM card mods, like a custom exterior shell
I'm sure.
with soldered on SIM. So
Jerry Rig Everything in his teardown of the 14 Pro also said that this is by far the most repairable iPhone we've ever seen.
oh yeah, the backplate comes straight off. Besides maybe the 4S.
Yeah.
I dropped that thing and the backplate just slid off.
Or the 6, because to open it, you just kind of bend it.
Yeah.
But iPhone 14 got a 6 out of 10 iFixit score, which is incredible. It has easier pull tabs for everything. The Lego connectors are all easier to snap off. There are less screws. Everything's labeled. Apple's push towards repairability and user friendliness is really interesting to watch.
It's nice to see though too, because self repairs on your tech is just gonna get easier from here on out.
Yeah, Apple backing the right to repair movement is something we never thought we'd see.
But yeah, so it's a shorter episode this week. Some big stuff came out, but they're just basic GTA 6, EVGA.
Now you guys get it. EVGTA 14,000.
Yeah.
We are still in Techtember. Pixel 7 is around the corner. Smartphone season is kind of wrapping up. We should see more tech coming out since the holiday season is approaching. It's an exciting time.
Mm-hmm.
That is it for episode 14, appropriate number. You can tweet at both of us with any questions, comments, or concerns. I'm at Utterly Drew.
And I am at Cole WW Web.
And we will see you next week.
Bye, guys.
This episode of Control-AC was sponsored by The Complete Backyard. The Complete Backyard is a custom outdoor living space design and build company. They specialize in Gunite swimming pools, pergolas, spas, cabanas, fire pits, and all your other outdoor living space needs. If you're interested in creating your dream outdoor home oasis, you can contact them for a consultation at thecompletebackyard.com.